G, so when is your test? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yes, it is. Yes. But it's okay. Your test is shorter because it's early start. A lot of people finish in, I think, within 35 minutes this morning. So it's not a long test at all because there's no work to show. There's no work that you need to show. Remember, everything is on the computer. I'll go over. So first off, you need to know isosceles triangle. You will see quite a bit of isosceles triangle in the circles and triangles. Right? So remember that if two sides are equal, that means the bottom two angles are equal. You need to know these proper names: opposite, supplementary, complementary, alternate, corresponding, co-interior. You need to know these names, okay? So formal names. So for example, what is the Z pattern called? Alternate. Okay. Spelling counts. This circle. You need to know these terms, definition, okay, what they are. It could be like matching, it could be fill in the blank, it could be definition. So make sure you know what these are. Don't forget the last two as well, inscribed angle and central angle. What's the connection between inscribed and central? Stefan?
So central is 2 times the size, 2 times the angle of the inscribed.
Right. Okay. So central is 2 times the size of the inscribed angle. That's the connection between them. So let's say even if you're not good at math, let's say you're not so good with math, with the calculation, these is just based on memorization. So it should technically be 3 marks if you're good at memorizing. Okay? So just knowing the terms could pass you the test. Okay? And then don't forget you have to do Pythagorean theorem for to solve for some of the length. Okay? So we did Pythagorean theorem in the last chapter for the surface area and volume. You still need to do Pythagorean theorem to figure out the length of like diameter or a chord and so forth. So don't forget that. Okay. So before I let you guys work on your own, I want to pick and choose a few questions to do with you guys. So page 17. Page 17. Today is the review class. So page 17, let's do yeah. So tomorrow during your test, I do want to collect this package, okay? Because I want to make you guys do your review. All right. So let's do this one first. G. Okay. What do the angles have to add up to in this hexagon? 6-sided figure. Stefan? 720. Not 360. 360 is a 4-sided shape. For a 6-sided shape, how did you get 720? Yeah, okay, that works. Okay, or because this is 6-sided, it's always subtract 2. Because to make a triangle, you have the 2 other sides. So when you subtract the 2, you get the 720. Okay, so for example, if it's an octagon, then you would do 180 times 6. Okay, if it's a pentagon, you would do 180 times 3. Okay, so in this case, to set it up, I would do x plus 119 plus 125 plus x plus 3 plus 117 plus x plus 2, and then it will equal to 720. Like that. All right, well, might as well solve it. All right, so the x's go together. Remember, tomorrow you will need to know how to do algebra. We've been practicing since chapter 4, so by now you should be very good with algebra. So x plus x plus x, you get 3x. And then 119 plus 125 plus 3 plus 117 plus 2, you get 366. So plus 366 equals 720. Okay, what's my next step? I collected like terms.
Subtract 366 from 720.
Right. Oops. So 720 subtract 366 because you're moving the 366 over. So we subtract. We get 354. So 3x equals 354. Last step. Bring the 3 under by dividing. All right, so divide by 3. So x equals 118 degrees. Okay, on the test, because it is on the computer, I don't need you to search up this degree symbol. You can just type in words, spell it out, degrees. Okay. But don't forget the degree sign. Like I don't want to see 118 and then using a circle or a 0 for degrees. Okay. Hi, sweet. Okay, so this one, let's do M. Let's do M. Okay. So I'm gonna give you guys a hint. Okay. What's the connection between those 3 angles?
This angle and this angle equal that one.
Okay, so the inside 2 angles. What about it?
What equal the exterior angle.
What am I doing with these 2? Add them, right? So the sum of these 2 angles equals your exterior angle. So if I were to set up my equation again, I have 5x minus 20 plus 2x plus 8, and it will equal my exterior angle, 6x plus 4. Okay. What is this theorem called again? Who remembers from last week? This is a theorem. Oh, someone's music is very loud. I wonder if it's yours, Carson. Okay. Sounds like your music is louder than my voice. Alright, so let's mute that. What is this theorem called? Who remembers from last week? EAT. What does it stand for? Exterior angle theorem. Right. Okay. Okay, I want to see if you guys remember how to solve this. Okay, let's solve this. I want to take 30 seconds. Solve this algebraic equation. Okay, take 30 seconds. Try this. Okay, so let's see, how did we get 16? 5x plus 2x, you get 7x. Negative 20 plus 8, you get negative 12. Here, I'm just copying it down. I'm dropping the brackets. Okay, then move letters to the left, numbers to the right. Don't forget to change sign. So 7x minus 6x, you get just 1x or x. 4 plus 12, you get 16. Okay, so now if I want, so what is y? I found x is 16. How do I solve for y? Stefan, what's your idea?
You just find the exterior angle and then
Excellent. Perfect. I love that explanation. So now that we know what x is, we can substitute it in this equation. So 6 times 16 plus 4, and it gives you 100. So does that mean y is 100? It's 80. That's right. Okay, a lot of people make this silly mistake. They rush on their test. Oh, I found an answer. That must be y. Okay, remember, does this angle look like a 100-degree angle? No. Okay, so on the test, that doesn't look like 100. It's a acute angle. So I know my answer should be less than 90. And then as Stefan suggested, this is a straight line. So it's supplementary. Okay, so it's straight line. So y equal 180 minus the 100, which is 80 degrees. Okay. So on the test, it's gonna save you guys a lot of silly marks. When you get your answer, take a look to see if it's an acute angle or a obtuse angle that you're looking for. For something like this, you know your answer should be less than 90. And then like for if you're looking for an angle like an angle like this, right, then you know you're looking for a obtuse angle. So something in between 90 to 180. Okay. Okay. Oh, this one, and you can skip it because it actually involves using two equations, two unknown. That's grade 10, chapter 1 of grade 10. So if you want, you could try to set this up. I have the answers. You can come on up after to check if you got it right. If you do, good job. If not, don't worry about it. You won't see something like this on the test tomorrow. Okay. Questions that you'll see tomorrow would be like this kind or this kind. Okay. These ones, answers are on the side right here. Let's see. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me go back to here. Just one quick question here. I see a Z pattern right here. I see a Z. Okay, but how come this angle is not equal to this angle? Why is this 50 and this 74? I thought in a Z pattern, those two angles are equal. Okay. Okay, I know Stefan has the answer. Okay, Ishen. They're not parallel. So remember the Z pattern, the C pattern, the F pattern, those ones, it's only if it's parallel lines. Okay, obviously this line and this line are not parallel, so you cannot assume the Z pattern. Okay, so be careful with that. Okay, so this leads to our next one right here. Okay, page 19. Page 19, B4. Are these two lines parallel? Yeah, how do you know? Sorry? Which mark? Arrows, right. The arrows tells you that these two lines are parallel. So then, yes, I do have the Z pattern right now. I can do this backwards Z. Okay. This backwards Z tells me that this is 29. That means this right here is also 29. Alright, so that's 29 right there. Okay. What about this angle? How do I know what this angle is? How do I know what that angle is?
29 plus 29 minus 29.
Okay, why? How do you know that's 29 as well? This one right here. How do I know that's 29? Carson?
Because that other angle is 29.
Well, this doesn't tell me. That doesn't mean this has to be 29 and this. Well, what's the connection between this one and this one? It is 29, but why? Yeah. Inscribed angle. Excellent. This is your arc right here. So this arc, this is your inscribed angle. Same arc. This is also your inscribed angle. So this is actually also 29. Right? And so since I know that this and this is 29, that means it's an isosceles triangle. I can figure out what this is. Oops. I don't think I should have shaded that in. Okay, let me unshade it because then I'm trying to find out what the shaded angle is. So here. Bless you. Okay, so I'm trying to find out what that angle is. So if this is an isosceles triangle, then I can do 180 minus the 29 minus the 29. So that angle right there is 122. Okay, but I'm trying to find a shaded angle. I'm trying to find this. So my last step.
180 minus 122.
Excellent. Okay, so then right here, again, I do 180 minus 122, which gives me 58 degrees. Okay, and if you turn it like this way kind of thing, you can see two interior angle, you add it up, equals your exterior angle. 29 plus 29 gives you the 58, which is your external. Okay. So some of these diagrams you can like twist and turn it and to see if you see the pattern. Okay. Answers for the rest of these are also on here. The ones you might have problem with some of these, especially like the bottom ones right here. I like to give harder homework questions. So if you can do the homework, then you should have no problem with the easier questions on the test. Okay. So if you find some of these hard, like for example these ones, it's okay. You won't see something as hard on the test. Okay, as I said, answers for those are on the bottom. And then this last one. Let's go over this. This one. Okay. I'll do part of this one. Okay, so this one I have a circle, and then I have a diameter of 6 centimeters, and then I have a chord AB. So remember that's why you need to know the terms. You need to know what a chord is. So that's the chord, and the chord is 2 centimeters from the center. Okay, so 2 centimeters away from the center. Okay, what is this angle? 90 degrees, right? Because it's a perpendicular bisector. So that's 90 degrees. All right. I know I want to find the length. Whenever I'm looking for the length, I know I have to do Pythagorean theorem. Right? So not 180. When I'm looking for the length, it's Pythagorean theorem. I need to make a triangle somehow. All right. How do I make my triangle? I'm going to make a triangle to use Pythagorean theorem. Yeah. Ready?
Connect A to 6.
Yeah, good. Like this. Okay, there's my right angle triangle. How long is that red line?
Half the diameter.
Half the diameter, because this is my radius, so this is 3. Okay, and then using these numbers, I can figure out what this is. Okay, should I do the adding or subtracting for Pythagorean? Subtract, because I have C. I have my hypotenuse. Okay, so 3 square, take away 2 square, and then square root it. 9 minus 4, so square root 5. So A equals 2.2. Okay. So does that mean the length of AB is 2.2? Yeah. Times it by 2, because all I found was this part, this red line. I want the whole line, but because of one of the properties, I know that this is a perpendicular bisector, which means they are the same length. So when I times it by 2, that means length AB equals 4.4 what? Centimeters. Okay, so this was number 3. Um, 3C is the exact same thing, but you're just drawing another chord that's 2.5 meters away from the center. So you can try that. Okay. Again, answers to these questions is right here. So you can check your answers tonight when you try the questions. All right. So in this review, I went over the triangles. Okay, 180 plus this, 180 minus that. Okay, solving by algebra. I went over a circle question and with the inscribed angle, central angle, and I also found the length of a chord using Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so those are the main ideas you need to know for tomorrow's test. Any questions? Does spelling count? Yes. Okay, especially since I told you guys a gazillion times. Okay. So if you still get it wrong, you deserve me taking half a mark off for spelling. All right. So for the rest of the class, please work on page 17, 18, 19, 20. So the 4 review pages. Okay, the review starting on page 17.